Hello, welcome to Revenant Reads. I'm Vin, and this is the favorite people tag. So this tag was created by Gareth over at Book Songs and Other Magic, and I was tagged by Mindy over at Mindy's Book Journey. Especially if you like reading horror, you should check out her channel. I'll have links to both of them linked below. And this is a tag that Gareth had created a little while back now, and then Mindy did her version of it. I think it's been almost like 2 weeks ago now, and I'm finally getting around to it. So basically it is what it sounds like. It's a list of basically favorite things, or prompts ask you favorite things. So let us begin. The first one, name your favorite author. I have to say, I don't really have an answer for this. I don't have a favorite author. I don't really think in those terms. The kind of author that maybe came closest to me at one point in my life would have been something like Carl Sagan, because when I was doing quite a bit of traveling, especially in my 20s, I pretty much always had a Carl Sagan mass market paperback in my luggage, and sort of a travel companion. But the problem is that when I read, I like variety. I don't often go to the same author over and over again, especially not in succession. So, it's the same kind of thing like if I drink beer. When I finish a bottle of beer, I don't go for the same type of bottle. I always go for something different. I like to have a variety, like in my refrigerator, or if I'm out. So it's the same kind of thing with the reading. So even if I really like an author, it might take me a really long time even just to read a second thing by them, just because I'm always kind of chasing for, something new. So I don't really have a satisfactory answer for that question. The next one, name your favorite comedy actor or comedian. That one's kind of a little bit difficult to answer. One of the things that I'm going to go old school with this, but I still like Charlie Chaplin. Yeah, some of the humor has aged quite a bit, but what he was able to accomplish, even 100 years ago, and some of that stuff is still really good. I like Chaplin. Some other comedic actors that I've always liked is something like Gene Wilder. I do like Will Ferrell most of the time. Not every movie that he's done I've liked, but when he's on, he's on. I still find Step Brothers to be pretty hilarious, and Anchorman, and his stint at SNL was always great as well. So, I don't have a favorite. When it comes to comedians, and I'm thinking like stand-up comics, even though I know he's had a lot of controversies over the years, but I still think Louis C.K. is really good. I like Bill Burr. And those are, of course, more on the crude side of things in their comedy. But my wife and I recently, a few months ago over the winter, went and saw Nate Bargatze. I think that's how you say his name. Saw him live, and he's a clean comedian, but really good. I don't always go for the clean comedians, but he's actually quite good. So I liked him a lot. That was a fun show. 3, name your favorite dramatic, serious actor or actress. One of my favorites has retired now, and that would be Daniel Day-Lewis. I love the way he would transform himself for every role, and he always brought kind of a moment-stealing scene within a movie. It's funny, my mother, I remember when we were younger watching Last of the Mohicans, and she always kind of considered him a heartthrob. And then we'd watch something like Gangs of New York, and she would refuse to believe that Bill the Butcher was the same actor. She couldn't even see it, and he was terrific in that. And of course, I thought his turn as Lincoln was amazing. He even got the kind of higher pitch register that Lincoln's voice apparently had. And something like There Will Be Blood. I mean, he just always had some great roles. But he's retired now. He is no longer acting. Present day actors, I really liked Joaquin Phoenix and what he's been doing. Another actress I've always really liked, and I'm always excited to see her, is Toni Collette. I think she's got some great roles and performances as well. Number 4, name your favorite political figure, past or present. Political figures are definitely something I don't generally think of in terms of favorites. Closest I would come to it, and I'm going to actually repeat a couple of things that Mindy said for her answers, and mine is going to be Abraham Lincoln. Pretty sure that she said this one as well. But, everything that I've read about Abraham Lincoln, yes, a lot of times he's a person of his time, and, we're not going to agree with everything that he says or does, But he does seem to be somebody who had an open mind and would change his mind over time as he got more information. And I just think that, in the end, he managed to keep the Union together while somehow keeping the American soul intact, which is quite commendable. So, yeah, Abraham Lincoln, I guess, would be my favorite. Number 5, name your favorite film, writer, or director. So, I do like film. These kind of questions are hard for me to answer unless we are more genre specific. What type of film, what type of director. So, one of my favorite types of film in genre-wise is the horror film. So this is one of those ways I'm actually going to start repeating what Mindy said again. She said Robert Eggers, and I'm actually going to kind of echo that. His 3 main films that he's released so far. He's doing Nosferatu right now. But you got The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman. I just love all 3 of these. The way that he writes history. So these 3 films are all historical period pieces. And he approaches them in a way that I really, really appreciate. I mean, really, each of these films, it feels like it's tailor-made for me. My personality, my likes, being a history buff and a horror geek, those things come together in such a terrific way. He is not somebody who writes about history in a way that it sounds like or feels like he is trying to impose 21st century mores or lessons into the past. He allows the past to speak for itself. So in something like The Witch, we have a 17th century family in New England being, really preyed upon by a witch in the wood. But the witch is very much the way that people of their time period, these kind of Puritan settlers in the 1600s, the way they understood witches. And he gives us the witch in a way that they would recognize. And he creates the storyline and their anxieties out of really their personalities or their beliefs at the time. So we have, for instance, we have this Calvinist family, and they are wrestling with predestination and worrying about that. It's very much of the time period, which is terrific. And even with The Lighthouse, a little bit of a different type of film, but the accents that our 2 main actors use, I mean, they're historical. They're specific to a time period and to a location. There's a lot of historical detail even in this. And then you got The Northman, which, I mean, anybody who watches my channel would know that I am kind of a Viking enthusiast. I really like Norse/Anglo-Saxon culture as well. But, basically he gives us a story. It's the same story that we get like Hamlet from, and very similar things like Conan the Barbarian. It's a familiar story, but now we have it in this kind of Norse saga setting. And what I love about it is that it really feels like a saga brought to life. Once again, he lets the Norse kind of speak for themselves, and he really does well in capturing things like Norse religious belief and how it maybe was practiced or depicted. Really great. A favorite of mine. So he is definitely one of my favorites. And in the horror realm, another one that I would say is somebody like Mike Flanagan, who has done some great things on Netflix. He did The Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, a lot of really great miniseries, but also some movies I really like. I mean, he did the version of Doctor Sleep. He's adapted King a few times. His Gerald's Game adaptation is also really good. And just something like Oculus, one of his earlier films. He is somebody who, again, creates things in a very thoughtful manner. It's not just ghosts. He thinks about what a ghost represents and how it functions as a storytelling mechanism. And he really kind of, consciously weaves those things into his stories. So yeah, Flanagan is another one that I really, really like. I'm always excited when he comes out with something new. Number 6, name your favorite new discovery. I didn't really have an answer for this one. When I was looking at these questions a little bit earlier today, trying to think of answers for them, and I wasn't quite coming up with anything for that one. So sorry, Gareth. Don't really have a new discovery. Number 7, name your favorite musician or singer. So my favorite musician, ever since I was a teenager, would be Trent Reznor. of Nine Inch Nails. Certainly industrial music really kind of always spoke to me on a very personal level. And, you know, it took Trent Reznor a long time to write a song that I didn't like. It did finally happen eventually. But really, I mean, Trent Reznor has been for a couple decades now, has been a constant source of interesting music and a lot of stuff that speaks to me. Another musician, similarly, that I would say that is right around there is Maynard James Keenan, you know, of Tool and Pussifer and A Perfect Circle. Just love his lyrics and the ways that he goes about writing music. You know, so he doesn't write the music for Tool, but he writes it for the other stuff, and they're at least co-writes, and some great stuff. So those are two that I really like. Number 8, name your biggest inspirational person. And again, I don't have a single person. I mean, I admire different things from different people, and I kind of pick and choose a la carte. You know, the qualities that I like, and try to emulate those more desirable aspects, but I don't have a single person. And that's really about it. Again, I'm kind of late to this kind of tag. It's been out for a while, but those are just kind of my quick answers. I wasn't able to give satisfactory answers for all of them, and sorry, but just trying to be honest here. So that was the favorite people tag. I was tagged by Mindy, and thank you to Mindy for tagging me, and thanks to Gareth for making this. And as always, thank you, BookTube.